checking in again here. Today, I want to talk about vampire movies. And first, I want to start by talking about the Twilight series of books and films, how they are total horseshit. Vampires should not be sparkly, cuddly, lovable, sexy bad boys. I'm sorry. They want to rip your fucking throat out and drink your fucking blood. And I'm sorry, you can't have sex with a vampire because their shit don't work. They're fucking impotent. They're dead. Okay? As a good friend of mine says, it's just a disgusting metaphor for chicks who want to date damaged dudes. So, fuck that Twilight shit. I'm a grown man and an adult. I don't want any of that shit. I work in a bookstore. I have to deal with it every day. Fuck it. If you like Twilight, you can suck my balls. But, no, that's extreme. I take that back. If you like Twilight, you probably do want to suck my balls. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about 5 horror films for men. The first one, which was not super popular when it came out, people thought it was okay, but not as good as his previous work, is John Carpenter's Vampires. Now, this is a very masculine flick. James Woods kicks a lot of ass, takes a lot of names. The vampires are about as uncuddly as you can get. They're bloodthirsty, killing motherfuckers. So, you know, if this film had come out now, after we've had a decade of cuddly vampire shit, this movie would be a lot better received, I think. So perhaps a little ahead of its time. Check it out if you can, if you haven't seen it. It's based on a novel by John Stakely by the same name, which is called Vampires, which is back in print. So if you want to read that, you can get that as well. So John Carpenter's Vampires, first of the more masculine, serious vampire flicks. Flick number 2, I'm not sure how well you can see it with this holographic cover or not, is Let the Right One In, which has gotten a lot of press. Is a little softer, has a bit of a love story in it. So this may appeal to the ladies somewhat. You know, I'm not going to doubt that or deny that. But it definitely has some hardcore vampire shit in it. You know, they kill and there's gore and it's awesome. It's just a great movie. It's one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. I highly recommend everybody see this. I know it's gotten the shit hyped out of it, but in this case, the hype is justified in my opinion. So Let the Right One In. Check it out. Even your lady friend might like this one. So again, not as masculine, but has some killer vampires in it. Next film is kind of one people don't talk about too much. Shadow of the Vampire, starring John Malkovich and Willem Dafoe. For those who aren't familiar, this is set during the making of F.W. Murnau's Nosferatu, and posits that instead of casting a kind of loony actor who is very good at pretending to be a vampire, they actually cast a real vampire. So this is the vampire movie for all film buffs. It's very funny. It has some gore. It's just a great movie. I just really have loved this movie since it came out. Willem Dafoe is amazing as the vampire. Everybody should check this out. If you haven't seen it, go out and see it. Awesome, awesome film. The last 2 are Hammer flicks, and I'm a big fan of Hammer horror films. The first one is The Horror of Dracula, which is the first Hammer Dracula film. Stars Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, as well as Michael Gough from the Tim Burton Batman movies. In my opinion, the best adaptation of Dracula. Not the most accurate, not by a long shot, but easily the most entertaining, well-shot, well-acted, It's just, for me, it's the end-all be-all of Dracula films. If you have never seen this, you must see it. Go check it out. Good old-fashioned vampire movie. Got some blood and some boobs and amazing actors. You've got to check it out. The last film is kind of on the opposite spectrum as far as Hammer's vampire movies go. This is The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, which was one of two Shaw Brothers co-productions that Hammer did. Shaw Brothers being the famous Chinese martial arts studio. And in this, we have kind of these shitty wraparound scenes of Dracula. It's not really Dracula. It's played by a guy who kind of looks like Christopher Lee, very clearly a knockoff. But it's mostly about Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, who is in China giving lectures on vampirism when he and his son and her girlfriend are attacked by vampires and end up being protected by these seven martial arts brothers. The leader is played by David Chang, who was one of the two big stars. Well, not one of the two big stars. There were a lot of big stars to come out of Shaw Brothers, but he's one of the top ones. Basically, to make a long story short, if you want to see Peter Cushing and a bunch of martial artists fight vampires in the desert, along with some hilariously bad special effects and some goofy-ass Chinese vampires, this is, without a doubt, the most fun vampire movie I've ever seen. I love it. I adore it. Check it out. I feel passionate about all these vampire movies, actually, and there's a lot of good vampire movies out there, and hopefully Twilight is not the end-all, be-all of vampires, and hopefully there will be some kind of backlash here. One quick thing I want to mention, Near Dark is not on this list. Near Dark is a great vampire movie, has some great vampire gore sequences, and some very hardcore vampires. I left it out because it has a very strong love story vein, and a very happy ending. So I kind of left that out. Don't get me wrong, great movie, I love it. That's maybe more of a movie that can kind of maybe bridge the gap between you and your girlfriend who loves Twilight. For those who may not have seen it already, this is the cover of the bare bones re-release of Near Dark that's coming out. That is totally absurd. They've recolored the main character to make him look more like the Edward guy from Twilight on the cover of the Twilight movie. It's basically a big knockoff of the Twilight movie poster. So, fuck whoever did that. That's horseshit. You know, maybe your girlfriend will like Near Dark, but I doubt it. I doubt she's going to sit there and watch somebody get their throat cut open with a cowboy spur and squirt blood all over the room. And plus, there's an excellent 2-disc edition out from Anchor Bay. If you can find it or get your hands on it, I highly recommend you grab that, because I have a feeling this bare bones release is replacing that, and that'll probably be long gone. So that's my thoughts on vampires. Screw pussy vampires. Real vampires rock on. I'll see you later.